and Stephanie plays games. But today, we're gonna be cooking games instead. I said what I said. But for real, we're gonna be recreating Strahd's Dinner, a classic module that most people run that doesn't really have a lot fleshed out in the actual Curse of Strahd book. That'd be a fun spooky season treat. So if this is your sort of thing, let's dig in. Okay, so how do you plan a meal for a book that has like a paragraph about what you can eat in it? So I started with inspiration from Dracula. I just went classic vampire. I decided to focus my research on Romanian dishes because Dracula takes place in Transylvania. So I really just kind of ended up going broadly Eastern European, Southeastern European. And then the next challenge I found was kind of deciding what foods would be available in Barovia because, you know, you can't take more of the Mediterranean type ingredients. I didn't want to use a ton of citrus and everything. So I really kind of focused on researching what kind of vegetables grow without a ton of sunlight. So definitely decided on a lot of root vegetables. And then I found this really great dessert cookbook called Tava that focuses on Romanian desserts. So was pretty excited about that. So excited that we made 3 desserts for this video. And so ultimately I decided on a menu that had a nice fancy cheese board to get us started. Some Sesame Honey Thyme Bars is kind of like a mild dessert, not super sweet. Beet salad with a walnut thyme vinaigrette. And then for our mains, we're going to have a root vegetable gratin, a pork tenderloin with an apple mustard pan sauce. And then I also made an apple caraway bread cake and some Raspberry Rose Crescent Cookies. If your players love cooking just as much as you do, make sure to check out today's sponsor, the Ugly Goblin's Cookbook. It has just a few days left on its Kickstarter. I really want this one to fund. Gabriel of the Ugly Goblin is such a talented illustrator. I really can't wait to see what he does with this. So definitely go check it out, but let's get started. So I already took care of this yesterday. Make sure you salt your tenderloin overnight. Just a little bit of salt, not too much, because then it'll taste like ham. We'll get like a weird rubbery texture, but just a little bit. And dry it out in your fridge overnight. So don't cover it with plastic wrap, but also don't let it like touch things. So that way we get a really nice browned crust when we cook it. Yeah, so first we'll want to get our mise en place going. It's really important to mise that shit. This involves a lot of squinting at little recipe notes you wrote to yourself that don't mean anything now. I like to do things by weight because I did some pastry art schooling, but you can do things the old-fashioned way. There's nothing that makes you feel like a fancier bitch than using rose water. Literally my favorite ingredient to bring out. Be careful, do not overdo this. In fact, if you are American, I would almost say that you should put less than the recipe suggests, because your friends and family will probably think they're eating gross flowers. But if you are cultured and refined, it's fine. Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Realize your little coffee scale will not be enough for flour. Put it back, get the other one. Good old Trusty. You can tell he's that because he is covered in shit. Remember that baking is science. It is science, not an art. Don't get creative, no matter how much you want to. This is not the time. Okay, so we got our ingredients. We got our sugar, we got our baking soda in the sugar, we got our sour cream, we got rose water on the sour cream, we have an egg yolk, we have butter straight out of the freezer. This part is very important, straight out of the freezer. This is because butter will get really hot when you're working with it. We're gonna like crumble it by hand with our flour. So we don't want it to get really like ooey and gooey, that's not what we're doing here. But what we are doing here is taking our butter and dicing it up into smaller chunks that we're then gonna like hand press into our flour. And see, this is out of the freezer like 15 minutes ago and it's already getting kind of soft. So you want to ideally work faster than I am working right now. So now we're gonna take that and break the pieces up into our butter. If you've ever made pie dough, similar technique. So now we'll just gently coat them. Little babies, gently coating. And now we're gonna press them. Gently like babies. And that's what we just want to get to the point where it's like kind of the texture of breadcrumbs. So smashing it up real small. You could probably also do this with a food processor. I have a tendency to do a lot of things by hand because it's like cathartic. You can see they're still kind of big. And then I just generally hit a point where I'm done doing it. It's usually not when it's correct. Next, we're gonna add our sugar, baking powder, our egg yolk, and our sour cream and rose water. Bloop, bloop. Get on in there. And we're gonna mix it until a dough forms. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Mixing time. And this is like a dry dough. Again, if you've made pie, similar thing. So I even start kind of like pressing it instead. At a certain point, I will almost always use my hands instead. Again though, we don't want the butter to get too warm, so be careful. It's a vibe. Okay. Now you can see it's getting a little bit more formed. Cool, rough dough. Wow. See, rough. Now we're gonna wrap this baby in some cling wrap and put her in the fridge. Again, it's okay that it's like this. We're just gonna like gather it with the cling wrap. Because we're gonna roll it out, we're gonna work with it more after it chills. Into the fridge she goes. And while our girl is straight chilling, we're gonna be straight chilling. Just kidding, we're cooking more. Get yourself one of your little baking pans, and then get yourself a nice bag of sesame seeds, which we're gonna start on our Sesame and Honey Thyme Bars. We're gonna use like half the bag right now. You could measure it if you knew where your scale was. This feels like it should be an episode of Blue's Clues where you guys are all like shouting at me like, it's there! So yeah, we want 9 ounces if we're gonna follow a recipe. But it's such a satisfying sound. And so yeah, just wanna level these out. We're gonna pop them in the oven for like 15-20 minutes, just until they're toasted. When they get a little bit of color, they can start turning really quick. We don't wanna over toast them because they'll be bitter and sad. And while we're doing that, we're gonna boil the honey. So we need 8 ounces of honey. We need some lemon zest, so go rinse a lemon. We're gonna need our thyme. So yeah, get you a saucepan. There's a ton of good honey out there. I like to do like kind of a half good honey, half like regular store-bought honey. So the good half today is from the Asheville Bee Charmer. If you go to Asheville or if you buy from their online store, so good. They should sponsor me. I'd love a honey sponsorship. Okay, so first the cheap honey. I forgot, fireweed is kind of nice. It's like almost fruity, almost floral, which is gonna go really nice with our jam. You guys, I didn't even tell you about the jam yet. Okay, check this shit. Raspberry Rose jam. That's what's gonna go in these little crescents. Because we're pretty fancy. We're gonna get our little microplaner. We're gonna zest some fucking lemons. And I don't think Strahd would actually have lemons. I don't think citrus trees would be in Barovia. But just because Barovia is filled with sadness does not mean that we have to be. We don't have to be that lore accurate. And so when you're zesting your lemon, make sure you don't get the white bits. Those parts are a lot more bitter, and we don't want that. And then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of thyme to this, which means eyeball how much thyme you want. I've never made a cooking video before, you guys. So naturally, I decided we're gonna start with Strahd's Feast. We're gonna do a feast. This is kind of like, this year was my first Gen Con. And so what did I do? Did I decide to just go and attend like a normal person? No. I decided to go and run 32 hours of Alien. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm known for my like chill, normal decisions. So now we're gonna boil the honey until it's foamy. And so while we're doing that, we're also gonna get some of our stuff for our apple caraway cake out. You don't have to like stir this constantly or anything, but Since some of this is a little older and it's a little like crystallized, I'm just gonna mix it up a bit. And you can see it's starting to loosen up. The crystals are starting to get smaller. Our seeds are ready. So I'm gonna bring these out because we're gonna be putting them in while they're still warm. I'm also gonna take this moment to grab some parchment paper. Ooh, okay, we're coming to a boil. We want more foam than that though. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Foam. Okay, now that it's foamy, we're gonna add all the other things. So we're gonna spill half of them. That's part one. We're gonna add that. Start stirring. Stir constantly. Oh my gosh. Keep stirring. Then we're gonna get all of that really quick. Ah! We're gonna panic. We're gonna panic. Keep stirring. Keep panicking. We're looking for the honey to change color more. So like a darker, more golden brown color. You can also smell test it. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. So it's kind of subtle, but you can probably see the color changing now. You can see it's a little more golden brown. There we go. Turn off the heat. We're gonna pour it onto our parchment. Ooh, ah, wow. Then we're just gonna kind of try and make it into a nicest shape. And then we're gonna put a little bit of parchment on top. And while it's still hot, we're just gonna like roll it flat, just so it's even. Don't really need a lot of pressure. Again, it's hot. And we're gonna let that sit for a few minutes. And now it's time to bring out the big guns. So while that is cooling, we are gonna get started on the apple caraway cake. Like a bread cake. A dessert bread. So we're gonna unearth all of our stuff because our kitchen's a mess by the time we make 3 desserts. Don't worry, Strahd never visits down here. But just like before, we wanna do our mise en place. We want things to look nice. So have some softened butter ready. We're gonna be creaming that with our eggs. You'll also wanna toast your caraway seeds ahead of time. I just do microwave toasting, super easy, like 20 seconds total, like stopping in between every few seconds so they don't get burned. It's like a smell-based thing. 5 ounces of flour. Bow, BP, BP, caw, caw. Do you ever say things that just sound really silly? Like there's some instructions that I just say out loud and it sounds kind of fake, like I'm making like an excuse like, sorry, I can't hang out, I have to go grate an apple. But today I do. So we're gonna want like 5 ounces of this. You could take the skin off. I find that everything cooks up pretty normal. So we're just gonna grate it on my little mandolin grater right onto the countertops like a gremlin. Time to get creamed. I'm gonna cream you. I don't know, cream and butter. Cream and butter, guys. Take a stick of butter, minus 1 tablespoon. Bloop, that guy in there. And you cream them with sugar, but you want to do the butter just for a few seconds first. It makes it more even if you already get it not in stick shape. And seriously, you're gonna do this for like 5 minutes. People underbeat butter a lot. You want it really pale and creamy. Once it's pale and creamy, you want to go ahead and add an egg yolk, 1 at a time, beating them in. Then you're going to go ahead and add your dry mix to it. Make sure to scrape down the bowl between a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and add our toasted caraway seeds, our grated apple. And we're just going to gently fold that in. We don't want to overmix. And so taking that 1 tablespoon of butter, we're gonna grease our pan, then add the bread dough into this and go ahead and pop it into the oven. And by now our sesame and honey thyme bars should be ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and square them up just so the presentation looks really nice. Just trim off those edges, cut them into little strips, and then cut them into bars. This will go easier if you didn't wait a little too long like me, but look at that. And then while those are set to the side, we're gonna start working with our little crescents. So we're gonna take that dough and cut it in half, put half of it back in the fridge so the butter doesn't get too warmed up. And we're gonna go ahead and like I said, this is very similar to a pie dough. So right now it needs to warm up just a little so that we can get it into a round shape. So I'm just gonna knead it a little. I'm gonna roll it out Getting it just again a general circle shape. We'll fix it up a little more with a knife, cutting off the really rustic edges, and then slicing our circle into 8 parts. So you should have nice little triangles. So we're gonna add our raspberry rose jam, just a tiny bit. We don't wanna overfill them. Guess what, I overfilled them a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and roll them up. So starting at the base, roll them towards that top point, and then we're gonna shape them into little crescents. And then we're gonna go ahead and pop them into the oven. Look at those, beautiful. And when they come out, we're just gonna dab a little bit of powdered sugar on them to top them off. It makes them look real nice. Hi, hello, welcome back. Now for the real shit. Now we're gonna be making our root vegetable gratin, our gratin. Our grat's where it's at. But things like this go a lot easier if you have a mandolin. But also, be careful if you have a mandolin. I was a line cook for a really long time, and that is probably the #1 way that people lose tips of fingers. So, be careful. Respect the mandolin. We're gonna prep our cheese first, because cheese is the most important part. So I'm gonna shred a block of Parmesan really quick, but also do you ever realize that you don't know how to say a word, like you've read it a bunch of times, but you're not completely sure how to say it out loud until you're recording a video for the whole world to see? Well, I think it's a German cheese, so we're gonna go with Butterkäse? Butterkäse? We're gonna go with that. But yeah, he's actually a surprise addition to our cheese board later. We just want a little bit of him to top it with, but we're gonna mainly use Parmesan. This is a really soft cheese, so just a little bit of this. And you can use Gruyere or something also. You can even use mozzarella, I guess, if you wanted, but don't throw these away. Put some cheese in your cheese cup. We're gonna put it on the cheese board later. Smaller chunks like this can go right into it. It melts real nice. Now we're gonna do the same thing with our parms. Shred those babies up. And you could always buy pre-shredded Parmesan, but it doesn't taste as good. It doesn't melt as good. It's worth taking a little bit of extra time to just grate it real quick. Yeah, now so we're finished up with our Parmesan too. We've got our cheeses shredded. We're just gonna transfer that to a bowl really quick. We're gonna leave a little bit on the bottom. A little bit. Some nice cheesy padding for our vegetables. We're gonna put cheese cup in the fridge because that's gonna be part of our charcuterie board. And now, I'm gonna set that to the side. We're gonna change out to the sharpest mandolin part. Be careful! Told you to be careful. Block that shit. But now we're gonna slice our vegetables. We have some big old parsnips. We have some sweet potatoes. But most importantly of all, we have beets. So many beets. Reserve the greens. Put these babies away. Do not throw them away. They're really, really great sauteed. We're not going to do that for this particular recipe. But I'm going to cook myself some for later. You can put them, or you can be like me and just rip them off. Be very careful. Beets stain everything. Beets are going to get cut on their own special little mat. Again, the staining. But first we're gonna prep our ones for our beet salad because we don't need to peel those. When you roast them in the oven, you can just rub the skin off after. I'll show you. But yeah, some of our bigger rustic guys, they're gonna get a long roast in the oven. That way they become part of our beet salad with a walnut thyme vinaigrette. We're just gonna keep a few of these smaller ones to be part of our gratin. But we're gonna pop these in the oven now, these bigger guys. And roasting beets is super easy. You're gonna take your industrial size foil. You can trim the tails off of these guys too, because otherwise they'll get burnt up. But yeah, we're just gonna put these guys on the foil. If you have too many, you'll want to separate them. It's annoying. And then you're gonna take your industrial olive oil and pour it all over them. You just wanna make sure they're finely coated. Get some salt on there. Rub them all up. Don't push through like I did. And we just want like a nice seal. You don't want to leave a bunch of space because we don't want to steam them. We're still roasting them. Let's get your nice pouches. Into the oven they go. Ones of this size usually take an hour. So that way they'll have a little time to cool, to become a salad while our gratin is roasting. Because with these guys, we're going to peel them so they're pretty. And I guess if you wanted things a little more rustic, you don't have to do it. But something tells me like Strahd doesn't like rustic, so we're doing it. So going ahead, peeling them. Doesn't take too long. Look at that though. We're gonna use our mandolin. We wanna have a nice even size. It should be a little bit thicker than a chip. We don't want them too skinny, they'll overcook, but we don't want them too thick, they'll undercook. Again, beets coat everything. You'll have murder hands, so that's why they go in their own bowl. These can go in the same bowl as the parsnips because they're not gonna stain everything red. Guess what we're doing with these? The same damn thing. Parsnips are nice because they have this built-in handle. But while we're here, we're also gonna mince just a clove of garlic. This isn't one of those ones where more is better. I know it's tempting to add more always. I love garlic too. This is a delicate dish, don't do it. Crunch. Okay, so we're just gonna microplane this buddy. The sound effects are the most important part. Bloop, put him to the side. I also picked up some sage because a lot of recipes over in that region use sage, and it's one of my favorite things to use. Like, that's what I want to smell like. I want to smell like sage. Just a couple of leaves. Again, we're going pretty delicate. And we're just gonna chiffonade these. So we're gonna roll them up just a little bit, a little tight cigar. These are a little long, so I'm gonna cut them in half first. And then you're just gonna very thinly chiffonade. And from there you can kind of dice it up. That way it's a little more uniform. And now we're ready to assemble our gratin. So first we're gonna take our heavy cream and we're gonna douse, gently douse, just a little douse. A small dousing. Again, I don't use measurements that often. So we're just gonna like eyeball it. We're gonna do what feels good. Like we want like a nice coating over all of them. Potatoes usually drink it up. Beets less so. But yeah, we're gonna douse them up. Put some of our garlic and our sage in each of them. Put a little bit of our parms on each of them, and then some salt, and then some pepper. I'm using white pepper so that it doesn't show as little flecks. Totally optional. Normal pepper is fine. And then we're gonna toss all of them. So we're gonna get that mixed up real nice. If anything feels dry, you can just add some more heavy cream. Be gentle with the parsnips in particular. This is how you move things when your hands are dirty. Oh, see, that's what, the potatoes are a little dry. We're gonna, oh no, I put the lid back on, no! You're serving this to other people, don't do this. Ooh, thirsty, thirsty potatoes. It's kind of like hungry, hungry hippos, those things. Again, we're just trying to coat it really evenly. Permanent murder hands. That's what you're gonna have after today. Just really get in there. You don't wanna have a guest bite into like a chunk of garlic. A chunk of cheese is fine though. And once we have that part done, we're gonna put it in our casserole. So I try to like, oh, put this in first, put this in first. You don't want it to like stick to the bottom. Like I said, we already have some cheese, but yeah, smear around a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But yeah, like I like to alternate little sections. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like some people get real intense. But I do that and then just kind of intersperse it in a cute little circle, tucking each layer behind the previous. You can also go the other way. I don't know, my brain just doesn't work that way. Let's try it. Let's get crazy. Yeah, see, that's what, it doesn't work that way. Ugh. Why? If you mess up, that's fine. You can just scooch more things around. Ooh, this is gonna be perfect. I love it when it works out this way. As you can see, I'm able to kind of like bookend it. And it's just a complete circle, and that looks so nice. Right, guys? That looks so good. And then same thing, more circles. I always love just a few of the beets in the center. Any sort of cream, I'll pour out and start to pour over this because it's already infused with some of the garlic and the sage and the cheese. Also, if you have leftovers, like I definitely do, you can make a second pan. You can make like an ugly bake, is what I do a lot of the times. Not all of them need to look like this. Just gonna clean up the edges a little bit. Then we're gonna pour over just a little bit more of the heavy cream just so it doesn't dry out while cooking. We're gonna top it off with the rest of our cheese. Saving a little for my other veggies that I did not fit in here. But then the buttercase, I don't know, that goes on. Just a little bit first. Because after it bakes for a little bit more, we're gonna finish the rest of it with some more cheese. And we're gonna like get it nice and brown and bubbling and pretty. We're gonna wrap this guy, and then he's gonna go in for, probably like 40 minutes. 40 minutes, and then he's gonna get another 10 or so with the extra cheese on top. Now for the real deal! By real deal, I mean getting shit out of the way, and then the real deal! No, there's not. But now, the real deal. So we're gonna be making a pan sauce for this, so we're gonna wanna prep a few things first. I was gonna use thyme, but I really like sage and apple, so we're actually gonna use apple instead. I mean, this apple. No, we're gonna use sage instead of thyme, that you didn't know we were using anyways. So fun fact, we were actually gonna do a slow roasted beef tenderloin for our Strahd dinner before I found out how fucking expensive tenderloin is right now. Like, I know there's a cattle shortage. I don't eat that much red meat on a regular basis because I try to be healthy. Bro, over like 20 bucks a pound. This would have been over $100 just for the cut of meat. So we're not doing that. But pork tenderloin, underrated. But anyways, we're making like this apple kind of pan sauce with our apple brandy, our sage, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Stock, yeah. I always just use like the Better Than Bouillon, pre-do that. But yeah, just like a simple pan sauce. So we're gonna cut up some sage. We're gonna use half a shallot. The other half we're gonna use when we make our vinaigrette. Are you really a cook if you don't have hundreds of soup containers to use for your mise en place? Probably not. Yeah, so let's cut this up real quick. Start crying because your knife is dull. Yeah, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you cry a whole bunch when you cut onions, you need a sharper knife. But I'm me, so I'm gonna do this until it gets like danger zone dull. So just like a tiny little dice. We're gonna use half of that in our sauce. And now we're gonna chiffonade some more sage. Again, mine are long, my hands are small. Chiffonade, then dice them real small. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Boop-boop. Okay, now that we got that done, we're gonna preheat our pan. Gonna do medium high. We're probably gonna set off that smoke alarm again. It's gonna be great. Preheat that, put a nice amount of oil in there. Because we're going to brown these babies. And first, we're gonna coat them in some cornstarch, which I put over here. Yeah, there's like measurements, but I don't believe in measurements. So do what feels right. I think it's like a cup per pound. Yeah, we're just gonna like rub them. And so this is gonna help it brown. Should be nice and dry since we did that fridge overnight. Make sure to get the sides. They should look like this when you're done. We're gonna be ready with our spatula, because once these babies start going, we're gonna wanna be able to deglaze the pan pretty quick. And while things aren't hectic, go ahead, like uncork things. get ready for your big moment. So we'll deglaze it with the brandy, the Applejack. We'll put a little bit of extra vinegar in there too. I like a little tang. Ooh, mustard! Get you a Dijon, get you a whole grain. Pork and mustard are such good friends. Again, some spoonfuls. Another piece of quintessential equipment, meat thermometers. Preferably one that's not busted, like mine, but we got what we got. Yeah, but we're cooking these to an internal temp of 130, and that's important because people cook the ever-loving shit out of pork tenderloin. Don't do it. Okay, we're gonna put it in, it's gonna sizzle, it's gonna be great. Ooh, yeah. Sure to get full contact. We're just gonna make sure these are really well browned on each side. We're also gonna get a plate ready for when they come off, because that's when we'll deglaze everything. Ooh, yeah. If it sticks, it's probably not ready yet. Let it sit a little more. And don't worry about turning your meat too much. That's absolutely a myth. That out a little. And while that's happening, ooh, pretty. We're gonna top this bad boy with a little bit more cheese. You see how like nice and gooey it is? Topping with some more cheese. He's going back in uncovered. Every time I open this oven, it is a race against time. You'll want to make sure to get the sides too. You might have to hold them. I trussed them up so that, you know, I wouldn't have to, but here we are. We don't want sad looking sides. We just want it to be pretty. Let's just wiggle the meat to see if it's ready. Not ready yet. Not ready to give it up. Aha. When they look nice and ready, like that's pretty nicely browned. You just take it, put it on a plate, because we're gonna finish it in the sauce in a few minutes. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cook half of our shallots. Like I said, we're reserving a little bit because we want that for our vinaigrette. We just don't want any of like the meat brawn to go to waste. And so you can see I'm kind of scraping some of it up. We're just gonna let it soften a little. Apples, sliced apples would be a really good addition to this. After 3 desserts, I was keeping it simple. Okay, you can see they're starting to get some browning. Some of the frond is a little extra brown, so we're gonna leave it at that. Put in our brandy. Ooh, brandy. Really, really scrape that shit off. Get it up, get it up. And now, we're gonna put those back in there to cook some more. Yeah, we're just gonna bring that to a simmer now and let them cook in it. Like I said, we're looking for about 130. So center right now is about 109, 108. So we still have a little bit of time for them. Ooh, another ingredient I forgot to mention is butter. We're definitely gonna add some butter to finish this. A couple tablespoons, so I'm just gonna finish that stick. And you'll just wanna occasionally turn it. You want it evenly cooked. Clean up after yourself. You'll thank you later. But one of the things we can do, our vinaigrette is gonna have thyme in it. Vinaigrettes are really, really simple, guys. It's just kind of put things in a jar. Shake it. Yeah, so let's get some thyme going. Ooh, that little guy is there. Okay, little guy is ready. Big guy needs just a minute or two, really. Best way to do it is get into the middle. I'm gonna go ahead, take him off, but we're just gonna reduce this a little bit more. It's already looking pretty good. So we can go ahead. That feels like a good amount of mustard. It's a good mustard vibe. You can stir him on in. Yeah, that looks pretty. Now's the time where you can also switch to a better utensil for mixing, if you feel like it. Now's also a good time just to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You don't want to add that too early, then it kind of loses its acidity. Ooh, the other stuff's ready. Dang, would you look at that? Okay, so now we're gonna add the butter to our sauce. So just plop it in there, mix it up. It should be like very velvety looking is the word that's usually used. And then we're gonna cut our pork tenderloin into medallions. You should see pink, don't be scared. Medium rare is fine. Cut that up, plate it all nice. And then we're gonna top it with that pan sauce. And now the roasted beets for our salad are ready. Sorry guys, forgot to show you, but you just wipe off the skins with a paper towel. It's like fucking magic. But we're gonna just roughly like quarter these. But we're gonna let those cool off for a minute. But we can toast our walnuts and then crunch them all up. These are gonna go on the beets later. Okay, now that our beets have cooled down, we're gonna dress them in the little vinaigrette we set to the side. By that I mean this. Just gonna give that a little bit of a shake, and we're just gonna dump that over them. You can use your hands if you want. I finally got them not stained red. So we're just gonna use a little bit of a spoon. Just give it a nice little even coating. And once we've done that, we're gonna cut it with just a little bit of salt, just a little bit of our white pepper, just for some extra seasonings. Now we're gonna take our toasted walnuts. Just gonna crunch those bad boys over them. Everyone likes a little bit of crunch. Put those to the side, put some more on later if you're feeling it. But then, the pièce de résistance. Cheese. Cheese. It's always cheese. Got our nice little cypress grove. And we're gonna use some of this on our cheese plate, so don't use all of it. Ooh, so creamy. We're just gonna bloop some over it. You gotta bloop it. Don't put it on it, bloop it on it. Bloop, bloop. And there we go. So the big stuff's all done now. Let's make our cheese plate. I'm also gonna plate up our desserts too. So I'm just getting like an assortment of boards out. I made this board, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, we just wanna get things out. Highly recommend taking pottery classes. You get lots of things. We are not gonna cut on those boards though. Those are presentation boards because they're pretty. And we don't wanna gunk them up yet. So we have our cup of cheese from earlier. Cup of cheese is important. We have accoutrements, our desserts. So the campizola is just gonna go on as a whole wedge. Look at that veining. Ooh, so pretty. Love campizola. We're just gonna start like dressing around her. So got these bad boys, 6 whole seeds. Amazing. We're gonna put a little bowl there. Those will probably be for beets. Got again, a cute little mouse knife. We've also got these. These are bomb. I love them. Yeah, just get you an assortment. Get you the goods. Look at these. They're beautiful. They're so good. But also don't forget about cheese cup. Start up a second little board. This is also gonna be where our desserts are going. Just beautiful. Onto the board it goes. I want to take a little bit of our mustard. Put a little bit of that in there. Can also wedge this in. La, 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 la. Now we're gonna take our spiced cherry preserves. Put a dollop in there. Real good. A few more pickled beets. Because roasted ones are not enough. But for real, it's nice to have a pickle. So we have a pretty good looking cheese plate right there. Like I said, we're about to have a dessert one. Like, sprinkle a few walnuts in there. Fill her out. Make her look lush. Okay, let's make a dessert cheese plate. More cheese, more better. So we're gonna put the rest of our goat cheese on this plate. She's so pretty. So we have our beautiful loaf. Ooh, say hi, loaf. Wow. We're just gonna put half of one on maybe. Ooh, okay, look at that caraway. Say hi, caraway. I'm gonna take our little crescents. Looking all cute. Cute and cute. Next, we're gonna take our little sesame bars. I'm gonna make a little base for them. Just stack them up. Those look pretty. I'm gonna throw a few more crackers in there. I really love those ones. I'm gonna fill in with some walnuts here too. Toasted walnuts are nice. And then we're also gonna fill it out with some grapes. If you guys have never had cotton candy grapes, they're second best to gumdrop grapes, which is still pretty fucking good. Give those a wrench, give them a pat, put them on your plate. Dessert grapes, for sure. Don't doubt them till you try them. Okay, so we have that. Oh, silly me, how could I forget? We need honey. We're gonna take a little bit of that fireweed honey I talked about earlier. Very good. Oh, it's dirty. Get yourself one of those cute little like beehive stirrers. Those are great. Guests love that shit. But, boop, said just a little bit. It's chilly here right now, so if it were me, I'd give it like a blitz in the microwave for like just 10 seconds. And then this one, a little more jam too. I think it'll go really nice with that bread. And so now there we go, for real. Dessert board done. And you can make some homemade bread if you didn't make 3 fucking desserts already. Otherwise, there's always store-bought bread. Got a little loaf. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Do a little cascade. Plate her up. Glug of olive oil. If you have leftover parms, you can do a sprinkle of that. Okay, let's go get ready for dinner with Strahd. I think Rahadin would approve. Yeah, let's dig in. Naturally, we need to pour ourselves a nice glass of red wine. My wine glasses are way up there. Tannins. Okay, but like, look at this. Your players aren't gonna know what hit them. Let's start sampling. Bread is important. You really can't go wrong with beet salad. Beets are my favorite vegetable. My favorite vegetables are what I call the triad of terrible. It's beets, Brussels sprouts, and asparagus. Okay, let's try this pork. Ooh, cuts like butter. Beef tenderloin who? Ooh, our gratin. Those sweet potatoes. Excellent. Okay, these were the right choice. I wasn't sure how raspberry rose jam was gonna be with something that already had rose water. Perfect. Okay, well, I have a lot to eat, guys. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, that stuff. But yeah, if you like this, I was considering doing another one for Icewind Dale Taverns. A little less fancy, a little more rustic. And if you like DM advice in addition to cooking, make sure to check out my Campaign Building 101 playlist and my video on the 12 quest archetypes that your players can go on. Cheers!